So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our video of Ketu in the ninth house of your Dashamsha chart. As in, what happens when Ketu is in the ninth house of D10 Dashamsha, which is the chart related to all the details of your career, your professional life. It's also the obligation to society you will have. It's things that people will notice. Sometimes you're going through Ketu Dasha and you're dealing with something private. People don't know unless you're close to this person because it's happening in their birth chart. It can be private, it can be public. But Dasamsha is the lotus of the 10th house. It's out there. The stem, the birth chart is within. Right? So think of it as this lotus blooming. And of course, if you don't know what sign your Ketu's in, what nakshatra Ketu's in, and at least for right now, you'll even get it in my report on the second page on Navamsha, Dasamsha, and birth chart nakshatras. For that, you can check out the links here, KRSastrology.com under shop section, where you'll get the report on option 6. But yeah, I cannot promise in 5 years, 4 years in the future, if you watch this video, I may not have that capability depending upon what updates occur. You just don't know what's going to happen. But right now, it's there. So, ninth house represents your management in the Dasamsha, people behind the scenes who are authorities. Ninth house represents the travels that you may do, educational travels related to your work. Like, for example, you have to travel somewhere to attend a conference because they're going to be showing something additional about some software. Okay, some AI software because you're a software engineer. It'll show that. But ninth house is also your mentors in your professional life. Okay, it can actually also signify your guru as well, your spiritual guru. For example, when people find out that this person has this guru, the world knows. Well, that is actually one of the positions of Dasamsha. Because remember, the lotus is not blooming. So when Ketu is in the ninth house, you will see there is going to be a very close, at one point, I don't care if you're 20 right now, you could be 20, 30, 40, 50, even 60. But at one point in your professional life, you will have a very, very, very close relationship with your mentor. To a point that they can be like your father figure. They can become your spiritual mentor in your professional work. Why? Because Ketu is showing there's a past life link with this individual. Now, on the other hand, this is only Ketu I'm talking about. For example, if in your Dasamsha 6th Lord Mars is sitting with Ketu, well, now you have to deal with your past life enemy in forms of a mentor or a teacher. Meaning you will be butting heads. They will be making sure you're pointed to a certain direction where you won't be finding the easiest success. They'll be very hard on you. Sure, they may not be trying to, jeopardize your career, but they're going to teach you in a hard way. Why? Because they could be some teacher from past life whom you never listened to. You skipped their classes. You ran away from the Gurukul whenever they were teaching something. And they're like, oh my God, this person. Why did I get this student? So now that karma was built at that time between you and that person. They punished you all the time. And you hated them for punishing you because the subject they were teaching you Upanishad and you were bored with it. You wanted to go climb the tree and get the mango. So now after maybe 300 years, 700, 800 years, this person is coming back in this new age of corporate work, corporate jobs, and now they become that mentor teacher with that combination of Mars or some other planet. But also just Ketu by itself. If let's say Ketu doesn't have any of certain influences, but let's say even has a positive influence of Jupiter, well then you're going to feel like I wish this person was actually my father. Most likely with Ketu, they could be one of your maternal pitris. Maternal grandfather coming back as your teacher. And they too will feel this connection with you. You will see that they too will feel that connection with you. So if you see their chart, there could be some kind of a match. But it shows that this is actually a very, very important position of Ketu in the ninth, because your karmic payoffs that you have to do for this society and world will be happening through this individual. So you are going to find that you are 100%. This is not just me talking, it's seeing actual charts of people talking. For example, I've seen people, when their mentor at work was laid off, this person switched jobs. They're like, I'm leaving. They actually wanted to be with that same company that this person was with. This is how strong of a bond it can create. And at the same time, you will see these people, especially in their workspace, will also have certain books or knowledge, or especially nowadays, it may not be books, maybe in your phone now, you will have religious books and text that you will read at work. It somehow is going to help you inspire at work, meaning that this person is going to look for some inspiration through Ketu based knowledge to inspire them at work. And then because Ketu is in the ninth, which shows, the moksha. See, Ketu is moksha. But see, moksha could be anything. It's not just you leaving your body. Moksha could be you switch your job and get another job. That's moksha from that job and getting a new job. And so what happens with Ketu in the ninth house is that you will see in your workspace, the management team that you have, whenever you get hired and you come in, they tend to just move. They tend to either quit, fired, promoted to a different department. Somehow that team of management will change around you. And of course, this is then also comes to that same scenario of that example that I gave. The mentor that you're very close to, they're going to find that moksha. They're going to perhaps have to leave. And this is the lesson you have to then learn of that detachment that Ketu brings. That, hey, don't be so attached. Yes, you found a mentor. Learn your lessons, but don't get attached where you are now affecting your own career based on those particular feelings from the past life. If someone's gone, you have their number, you call them and you hang out with them. So of course, wisdom is at play here. Wisdom in his career is very much at play here. So this is not like one of those placements where, I'm not interested in job and all of that. That will be seen in the birth chart. Maybe you've got, Ketu with the 8th Lord in the 10th house in the birth chart, in the 10th house, and you will just not have that interest in being in that corporate work. You may want to be out in the field. So that's different. Ketu in the 9th also shows continuous long-term learning. I know everybody will do that nowadays because technology is moving so rapidly. It seems like everybody will have their Ketu in the 9th house in Dashamsha. But you will see specifically with you, some education, whenever you when you start your professional career, some continuous education happens. Like, for example, even you're reading some spiritual book and it may take you 4 or 5 years to finish that particular series. You're learning certain things related to work. It takes a long time for you to finish that particular learning versus someone else. That's the difference. Because remember, Ketu is long. It's the body of the snake. And this is also something you will see that when you have Ketu in the 9th house, you will go into a place where there's lots of back-end managers that you will have to deal with. Kind of like that movie Office Space. You screw up once and you have 8 managers coming and telling you about your TPS reports. But again, the condition will only depend upon how this Ketu is. Who is with this Ketu? Who's aspecting this Ketu? That will determine, what type of a management situation you will see. But you will always see that there's always the type of company you go into, because your chart will only take you into companies where it's past life connections with not just mentors, but also managements. So it's actually a very, very important thing that when you deal with management, respect them. Doesn't matter, they can be the worst manager ever. Because here Ketu is making you pay, checking all those karmas off that you may have done or dealt with, because you don't know what you did to that person for them to be mean to you in this life. Once you understand this, see, this is why you have to understand this essence of astrology. Astrology is just not like, okay, well, you'll get married here and you'll get promotion here. It's really, really to make you a better person. So because you have a bad relationship with your mother, father, management, siblings, well, you got to think back quietly someday on some chair at a park and think about what Kapiel said. What did I do to this person that has triggered such animosity between us? Why is it that this person just doesn't like me? Why is it that they don't pay attention to what I say at the office versus the person who is less educated gets all the praises? And this is where you'll be like, you know what? I'm going to continue what I'm doing, whether they accept me or not, because this is my chance now in this life to finish all these karmas out. But yes, you go back into the counterattack. Well, now you're creating a brand new thread of karma, because Ketu is thread. So now, well, you quit your job. You're like, thank God I'm done with that management. I hated them. Thank God I cursed them when I left. Well, I'm sorry. That's not finished yet, just because you changed jobs. Because that same thing will be happening then at some point in the future, meaning future life. Unless, of course, you get lucky enough, the same management team comes into the new company and then you think about it like, okay, fine, I'll pay my karmas off here. Maybe you get lucky there. But that's the main scope of this Ketu, is that having that instant connection, but also depending upon Ketu, that connection may actually make you bow. Your ego has to be cut. And if your ego gets cut in front of the manager, in front of the mentor, well, just know you are now progressing in life. Okay. So guys, this was my analysis of Ketu in the 9th house of your Dashamsha. And as always, if you're new to my channel, subscribe below so you don't miss this type of videos. If you want to know where your Ketu is placed along with all your astrological details, check out the links here, KRSchannel.com. Otherwise, we'll see you later. Bye-bye. Oh, that was a long one.